Hello, everyone. I saw a couple of my favorite YouTube investment gurus recommend AT&T as a good stock to invest in, and I thought they left out some information, some important information and risk that I don't know why they missed it, but anyways, here's how I feel about AT&T. I personally have not had very good experiences with them. They are fairly reliable, that's true, but they do like to price gouge you. They do like to give you less bandwidth than they advertise. Well, that was my personal experience anyways. And I know that there are a lot of AT&T customers who are not happy with them, and that would jump at the chance of switching to another provider. And some of these people are in places that are where they couldn't get broadband unless it's AT&T. And some of these people, well, their options is either AT&T or even worse, ISP. So, as an ISP, AT&T is not very popular, and so what they're doing right now, they're introducing a new streaming service, kind of like Netflix. So they're going to go head to head with Netflix. They're going to go head to head with Hulu. They're going to go head to head with Disney. And I don't know, maybe they'll succeed. I mean, they have they have Time Warner and they have HBO, and maybe they'll succeed. And they do provide a nice, 6 point some percent yield for their dividend. It's nice. It's nice to, I was attracted to them, and I actually bought AT&T either May or earlier this month, which is June. And I'm not trying to say that they're absolutely a terrible investment and that you absolutely shouldn't invest in them, but I've come to reconsider investing in them, and I've sold them I don't know, a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And I want to go through my thought process with you. And first of all, the risk of AT&T is one of the biggest risks: Starlink. Starlink is SpaceX's project, Elon Musk's project, to provide internet service via satellite to the world. He wants to provide cheap internet with low latency, high bandwidth to the world, especially to underserved areas. Like you can go to the website and check it out. Starlink will provide fast, reliable internet to populations with little or no connectivity, including those in rural communities and places where existing services are too expensive or unreliable. And get this, Starlink is targeted to offer services in northern US and Canada latitudes after 6 launches, rapidly expanding to global coverage of the populated world after an expected 24 launches. SpaceX is targeting 2 to 6 Starlink launches by the end of this year. So 2 to 6 Starlink launches by the end of, and we know they have one. They already had one. They have something like 60 satellites already in orbit. If they actually succeed in launching 6 Starlink having 6 Starlink launches by the end of this year. That means by next year, 2020, they could be providing internet services for the northern US and Canada. And then by 2021, they might cover the entirety of the United States. Now, think about this. AT&T is an internet service provider. That's one of their main businesses. They also provide cell phone services, which is, maybe even bigger. But one of their main businesses, internet service provider. And Starlink is going to provide internet services in the areas that they are doing business in. And AT&T has customers who hate them, right? AT&T is sued. I don't know why this wasn't in the news. When I do a search, it's not in the news. Like good news, you don't see that there. I've checked a few sites and it's like that. It's not just Market Watch, but you won't see this article, about them getting sued for their price gouging, right? This is something that I'm aware of. This is something that a butt ton of customers are aware of or are not very happy with. Like, it's not that this lawsuit or this article raised awareness. Everybody already feels that they're price gouging us, and as an AT&T customer, right? And so they're not, these people, right? And they do stuff. They do other stuff with their internet service, right? Like not giving me the actual bandwidth that they advertise, right? I've had that happen in past. Hasn't happened recently. They've provided the full bandwidth, but they are still pricier than the competition for the same amount of bandwidth. And so they have a bunch of unhappy customers, and Starlink is all of a sudden going to jump in and provide internet services to all their customers. And guess what's going to happen? My guess is everybody's going to jump ship and start using Starlink instead of AT&T. So, not to mention, they're getting sued, right? So I just don't see, in fact, I don't see any internet service provider being a good investment right now because of Starlink. Now, maybe Starlink will fall down on its ass and not be able to do what it says it's going to do, which is to provide, maybe it won't be reliable. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll have some sort of hiccup and it won't be ready for a few more years. It'll get delayed or whatever. But first thing first, as an investor, right, and hearing this news, knowing about this news, and then as Starlink gets closer and closer to being complete, you're going to get more and more news about Starlink. It's going to start popping up, and people are going to see it. Investors are going to see it, and then they're going to be like, well, Starlink's coming. Maybe I shouldn't hold on to AT&T stock. And then they're going to sell. And then you don't want to be the guy left holding the bag when everybody sold. When is that going to happen? We don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. When is Starlink coming? I have no idea. It says, for after first 6 launches, which sounds like possibly end of the year, possibly 2020, and maybe 2021, whatever. But it's coming. It's coming pretty soon, 1 or 2 years, right? And you don't want to be left holding the bag. And what's more is, I don't know. I personally don't care for AT&T, and so I don't plan to invest in it. And I think there are if you personally don't care for AT&T. You shouldn't invest in it. And if you feel that a company is unethical, you really shouldn't invest in that company, because you are going to be, caught holding the bag. What is going to happen is that bad karma or hubris or whatever you call it, it's going to fall on you as the investor. You're going to invest money in this. Well, what happens? AT&T gets sued. They lose the lawsuit. Well, who's going to pay? AT&T is going to pay, but your stock prices are going to drop. Their profits are going to drop. It might even impact your dividend. And so if you think a company is not ethical, you shouldn't invest in it. Now, I'm not absolutely saying AT&T is bad. In my opinion, they are, and I'm not going to invest in them. But I'm just saying, if you think a company is, less than, ethical, why should you invest in it? There are thousands of other companies you can invest in, and some of them are maybe even more lucrative than AT&T, right? And what if it is the most lucrative, or it looks like it's the most lucrative? Well, they can fall down on their face when people sue them. They can fall down on their face because they don't have loyal customers. They don't have people who believe in them. Why is Apple so successful? Why was Steve Jobs so successful? He had a cult of personality or whatever. Why is that? Because people liked him. People believed in him. He made products that were great, that people liked, that people felt helped them. Like his laptops. Back in the day, computers failed all the time. They had trouble running this software or that software. This wasn't compatible or that wasn't compatible. Well, his computers, the Apples, the Macintoshes, they ran well. They ran great. Maybe you paid a little more for them, but when you actually had to use it to do something, to accomplish something, it didn't get in your way. It didn't slow you down. It helped you get what needed to be done, right? So people liked Steve Jobs. People liked Apple. Well, I'm not sure that's the case with AT&T. So, and I'm just saying. So, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.